G'day folks, Rust Comet here. Welcome back to another video. Now, back in May on this channel, I posted a review of my then pretty new Sim Hound sim racing gloves, which I was a huge fan of. I loved how they fit. I loved to use them. I still use them every race I do. And if you are looking at getting some sim racing gloves, I recommend going to check out that video. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But today I wanted to take a look at Sim Hound's latest product, which is their sim racing socks. So if you're anything like me, you've probably done quite a bit of sim racing in socks. It seems to be the go-to footwear for the majority of sim racers out there. But this is the first time I've seen socks that have been made for sim racing. So I wanted to open them up, take a look at them, see what makes them different from just whatever's in your sock drawer, and see if it's something that's worth picking up or whether you should just keep going with what you've been using. So they arrived a couple of weeks ago. I haven't opened them yet, but let's jump in and see what they're like. But before we get into things, if you do find this video useful, consider giving it a like. It does really help the channel out. And if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing as well. I normally stream on this channel every Tuesday and Saturday. There's a few other videos out there as well. And we've got some more content coming in the next year that should be really, really fun. But that's enough of me selling myself as a YouTuber. Let's get into the actual review. That's why you're here, right? All right, so this is them. This is the Sim Hound Sim Racing Socks. They did also come inside a little plastic bag, which I was going to open on camera to do a proper unboxing experience, but it was very loud on the microphone. I didn't think anyone wanted to hear that. I'm not really the ASMR sort of creator you're here for, so I took them out of the plastic bag, but besides that, they're completely unopened. They come as a 3-pack, which is quite interesting because each of the pairs of socks is slightly different. So kind of like a variety pack, it allows you to try and find the sock that suits your style best. We'll go through each of those individually in a second, but for now, you know, it's just a simple sock packaging. 3 pairs of socks. They feel quite thick in my hand. They feel quite good. And if we slide them out here, you can see this is them. They're just kind of sock looking. So the 3 pairs that you get, which are all slightly different. So you've got one pair that's just a plain pair of socks, nothing on them. Like they're, you know, got the Sim Hound logo, got everything on them. You get one pair which has this little heel grip here, so like a rubbery kind of heel thing on it, and another pair which has the grip on both the heel and the toe. So, I mean, as I said, I haven't tried these out yet. I don't know which one I prefer, but I do like that they give you this option, so you can decide, you just want to race in normal socks, do you need that heel grip, or do you want the, you know, the toe grip as well, maybe if you're doing some sort of heel and toe racing. I think this is a really clever idea to give you this variety pack. But one thing I will mention is this is the only way you can buy the socks. So for your first set, that's awesome. Like, I don't know which socks I'm going to prefer, so I like having this choice. But my assumption is going to be that once I try all these out, I am going to have a preferred sock, like a way I prefer driving. I might prefer full grip or no grip. But wherever I end up, there's no way for me to then say, hey, Sim Hound, I really like these socks. Can I just get 3 more packets of them? Because when you're sim racing as often as I am, I don't want to just have to wear the same pair of socks. They're going to get pretty gross pretty quickly. So I'd like to have, more backup pairs of my favorite type of sock rather than having to, use the socks I don't prefer as much or having to kind of slightly adjust my driving style for the different grip levels in the socks. It's just a small thing. Like, obviously I understand why they've done it this way because people won't know which ones they're wanting to get when they're first buying them. But in the future, I do hope that Sim Hound comes out with a kind of, either an ability to buy single socks or single pairs of socks or just one type of socks, even as a 3-pack. Like if I could just get a 3-pack of the full grip socks or whatever, I think that would be a better way to buy them in the future. But for now, it's a minor gripe. It's nothing major at all. And it's obviously not going to affect the quality of the socks. So, first impressions, they do feel very thick and sturdy, nice and stretchy. The rubber grippiness actually feels quite thick in my hands, which is good. I know one of my biggest gripes in wearing socks when I'm racing is I'm using Fanatec V3 pedals, and obviously, I slightly worry that they're going to wear my socks out pretty quickly. There's little holes in there, you're moving your feet around a lot. It is quite a lot of like rubbing against your sock, which is going to wear your socks out quickly. And I don't want to, just waste my socks on sim racing. I have actually switched to using sim racing shoes recently. I'll post a review about that eventually. But when I am wearing socks, I like this idea of having socks made for sim racing. They are sim racing socks. So even if they do start wearing out, I know that I've worn them out sim racing for their intended purpose as opposed to just ruining my good socks. They feel thick but somewhat breathable. I guess we'll try that out when we try them on. I've got the pedal cam set up to test that out later. But yeah, they feel like nice socks. They feel thick but breathable. Hopefully I don't get too sweaty in them. We'll find that out soon enough. But I could see myself wearing them for a long time. The grip feels good. But yeah, overall first impressions really strong. I think they feel like a good pair of socks. So let's try them on and see what the grip levels are and how things are different. All right, so as you can see, I've now got the socks on. They fit me quite well. They're sitting quite nicely, and as expected, you can almost see when I say like they're quite breathable on the top. They're actually quite a thin surface on the top of the sock and much thicker on the bottom. They definitely feel like I'm not going to sweat through them or anything. These are just the plain no grip socks, like the plain socks as they were. They, feel like socks to me. There's nothing particularly special or different about them. Sorry about the squeaky pedals. But in terms of socks that I could sim race in, they feel exactly how I would expect them to feel. They feel like any other pair of socks, a nice pair of socks, with just that little bit of extra breathability on the bottom, a little bit thicker on the top. You can see my heels slide around on the pedal plate, which sometimes you want, sometimes you don't. But my initial impressions of these socks are that they just feel like good socks. There's not much more to say about them here. I mean, if you're used to racing in socks, you'll be fine racing in these socks. They feel good. I can continue racing in these. But let's now try the socks with some of the grip on them and see what sort of a difference that makes. Now, these are the socks with just the heel grip on them. And immediately, as soon as I put them on the pedal board here, they are quite grippy. Like, my feet do not want to slide along here at all. Obviously, my toes still slide across the pedals quite easily, which is nice. But I've definitely noticed like my heels feel almost stuck to this pedal plate. It's actually quite a weird thing to notice. Like even when wearing shoes when sim racing, like the rubber on the bottom of your shoes doesn't actually grip as much as this. This is almost like sticky grip on the bottom of the sock. It actually feels quite nice. They feel quite planted. So if I'm gonna race forward now, like I feel like even doing this, I can feel that gripping up. So this is probably the sort of thing I would consider myself using for things like GT3 racing or Formula racing, where I'm just doing left foot braking, not moving my feet around as much. Which is interesting. It's not what I expected. I expected to be wanting to use the grippy socks for like moving my feet around and making sure I can get grip on the pedals. But what I found is I kind of, with these just on the heel, I like the idea of just having them planted here and, I can just use the pedals as I need to. I'm not worried that my feet are going to slip around as much. So quite surprising. Once again, the socks themselves feel quite good, thick on the bottom. I can slide the front of them around quite easily, but the grip is surprising on the heel. So that's unexpected for me, but in a good way. I do think it's like a high quality grip that's going to like make the socks last quite a bit longer, and as well as really hold you to the pedals, which is quite nice. So having experienced that, I'm actually now quite intrigued to see what it's like using the full grip socks with the grip on the toe as well as the heel, and see just how much of a difference that makes as well. All right, and yeah, these are the full grip socks. So as expected, they are very grippy, both on the heel and the toe. I almost feel like my feet are stuck to these pedals. Even when you come back off them, you can kind of feel the grip, almost wanting to hold onto the pedals, which is an interesting feeling, but it is actually quite comforting. You do feel quite a bit of confidence that your feet aren't going to move away from the pedals while you're racing, even more so than, sometimes wearing shoes and stuff, which like these socks are grippier than shoes. So obviously, you're not going to be moving your feet around too much while using these. But what I do find interesting is when you're, doing a heel toe or something in these socks, you do have that confidence that your foot is stuck to the brake. So, you push on the brake, you feel like you're stuck there and you can get across and like tap your heel on the throttle as much as you need to. And it does actually inspire quite a bit of a confidence there. So I would say these style of socks with both the heel and the toe grip are probably was my preferred style. Having that extra rubber on the bottom, I do really feel quite secure in my position when I'm racing with these socks. It's quite different than the normal pair of socks. Like I didn't expect there to be this much change in the grip levels when using these little rubber bottoms. I knew they were going to be a little bit grippier and a little bit sticky, but I wasn't actually expecting it to make this much difference in how it feels when, moving these pedals. So that's the 3 different pairs of socks. I mean, everyone's going to be different. Just because I prefer these ones doesn't mean that you have to. So yeah, that's my review of the Sim Hound Sim Racing Sock 3-pack. I hope you found it useful. I certainly learned quite a bit about them, even just from trying them on and testing them out this afternoon in the process of making this video. If you do have any questions or comments, or even just a little bit of feedback, feel free to leave that down below. I'll try and get back to everyone I can. Otherwise, as I said, I stream on this channel a couple of times a week. Feel free to drop by and chat. We can chat about whatever you want. And I hope to see you in there. But until then, stay safe out there, have fun, and I'll catch you next time.